I am a nobody. I'm sorry. We are nobodies. We are not seen by the world. We go to school or work or nowhere at all. We move through systems we barely understand, like shadows passing through something too large to notice us. We are cogs in a machine we can only see pieces of. But we have something.
And maybe that is the only thing that proves we exist. Because in a world like this, even thoughts feel like purpose.
And maybe that is why we build meaning where we can find it, because even though we technically have rights and opinions and the ability to speak and choose and express ourselves, there is still this underlying feeling that those things only matter if they are seen or validated by something larger, greater than us. And so we end up attaching purpose to anything that gives us the sensation of being acknowledged, even if it's only temporary, even if it only exists inside something artificial, like a game or a story or a screen that responds to us just enough to make us feel like we're part of something instead of just passing through reality unnoticed.
Welcome to this conference, where I wish to say a few last words. Games. Why do we play video games? Is it because reality is not enough for us? Is it because life feels too slow, too empty, too unclear, or confusing? Or is it because games give us something life refuses to? A role, a direction, in a sense that we actually matter to this world. In games, we are always someone. Even if the world isn't real. But the feeling, it doesn't stay inside the game. It follows us. It changes how we see everything. I think that is where video games start to become interesting in a way that is hard to fully explain. Because they don't just entertain you, they replace you. Or at least they give you a version of yourself that is more clearly or clearer to define than the one you usually carry through real life. And suddenly, you are someone who can make an impact. Someone who is required. Someone who is positioned at the center of something that reacts to your decision in real time. And even though you know it's artificial, your emotional response to this is not. And that contradiction is probably the most important part of the entire experience.
Road 96 is like one of those games that when you finish them, you don't think of it as a story, but as an experience. Something that made an impact. Maybe in the way you think of the world. It's a lonely, yet pulsating story that brings you to a breaking point of sorts. Not one that makes you sad, but one that makes you simply wonder, did I do the right thing? I love this video game, a bit too much. I can't even disagree, it's an obsession of mine. This game has changed my view of the world. A game made by French people. A people I can't say that I like too much. After that one time in France, I tried to order food and the cashier told me to shut up, your French is so bad, it's a disgrace to my country. Which is fair, but also fuck you. This is the one video game that has been able to make me shed a singular tear from a video game in the last 10 years of my life. It's a story of happy and sad moments.
Road 96 is not a story in the traditional sense. It's a road. A journey through a country called Petria. Country falling apart quietly, in the background of its own propaganda. You do not play a character. You do not belong to any identity in this world. You are movement. Nothing more. Each journey is different. Each encounter is temporary. The people, the self of this world. People appear and then they disappear. Like they were never there to fully begin with. Just fragments, moments, just pieces of a larger picture you will never fully see.
Road 96 is a procedurally generated road trip, not generated in the same way as a sandbox game, but in the way that the creators has made 52 different maps. There are always gonna be some specific stories that plays at specific times, but it means that for every time you play this game, you're going to have a new experience. Each character you slowly but surely start getting introduced to, and the way you view them is gonna change on the way you're introduced to them. You might be introduced to Sonia Sanchez in a way of sacrificing her personal driver by throwing them off a roof, or a story of how this fucked up world has changed her as a person without even really realizing it herself. Road 96 sits in a weird space in a very specific way. It doesn't give you a stable identity to inhabit, it doesn't even let you become a traditional protagonist. Instead, it places you in the role of movement itself, a kind of drifting presence that passes through the country Petria.
A place that feels structured on the surface, but unstable underneath. In a way, that becomes more obvious the longer you stay here. Because every road you take leads to something slightly different, but emotionally familiar. And every person you meet feels like a fragment of a larger system that is constantly repeating itself through different phases.
The player. You are not a hero. You're not chosen. You're not special. You do not even have a face. You are a shadow passing through the lives of other people. You survive on money, on energy, on reaching something that feels too far away.
But
The
you
border.
don't really know what
But you don't
this
really know what
all
it means, only that you need to get there. And what makes it even harder to pin down is that you never really become anyone in this world, because your character is always partially undefined, always partially absent, as if the game is deliberately refusing to give you the kind of identity that would normally anchor you. And instead you are left as a kind of empty continuation, a presence that only exists in relation to others, which slowly starts to change how you perceive everything else. Because when you are not fully defined yourself, you start noticing how defined everyone else seems in contrast. And yet even that definition begins to feel unstable the longer you stay here.
Petria.
Petria is a country that claims to be stable, a country that claims to be free. But freedom here is not something you live. It's something you're told you have. While everything around you suggests otherwise. The media speaks in one voice, the government speaks in another. And the people speak less and less over time. And somewhere in all of that, teenagers begin to leave. Not because they want adventure, because staying feels like disappearing. Petra itself claims to be a functioning democracy, but feels like something held together by distance and avoidance rather than transparency, where authority exists but doesn't feel accountable in a way that people can fully articulate, and where movement between places feels normal enough on the surface but carries this underlying tension that something is not quite aligned between what is being said and what is actually being experienced. Over time, the tension becomes part of the background noise of the entire world. Something you stop consciously noticing, even though it never really disappears. An authoritarian country, Petria. There are dozens of possible journeys. Every run is different. Every encounter is reshuffled. Every story you hear might never appear again. You never see everything. You never understand everything. You only experience fragments of lives that continue without you. And then you move on. You start meeting people. The first one that stayed with me in a way I didn't expect was Zoe. Zoe, who doesn't feel like she belongs in the same emotional structure as the rest of the world, because she speaks like someone who still believes that the system can be changed if enough people decide to challenge them. There is something almost disorienting about encountering that kind of belief in a place that already feels like it has settled into its own limitations. Because part of you wants to accept what she is saying, but another of you cannot stop wondering if she simply hasn't lived long enough inside the system to fully understand why other people stopped believing that change would happen. John doesn't feel like an introduction to a character, so much as an interpretation of something that has already been ongoing long before you arrived, because everything about him feels slightly worn down, in a way that suggests he is not reacting to the present moment as much as he is carrying the accumulated weight of previous ones. And when he speaks, it's never with urgency or performance, but with this quiet exhaustion.
Beautiful, isn't she?
Exhaustion
putting that
that
back?
makes you question
That's a
whether he
real
is still
valuable
trying to
object.
change anything at all,
Pains
or
me to
simply
say that
continue
Bakani's no
out of
longer with
habit
us.
rather than
Passed
intention
away
itself.
10 years ago when the peak collapsed.
And somewhere between those encounters, you start to notice that Alex exists in a completely different kind of tension. He feels like someone whose understanding of the system has developed faster than his ability to exist comfortably inside them. And there is something unsettling about that kind of awareness, because it doesn't necessarily lead to freedom. It often just leads to a more detailed understanding of how constrained everything already is, which raises questions of whether knowledge in a place like this is actually a form of power, a more precise way of recognizing limitations. Fanny, who feels like structure in human form, Someone trying to maintain order in a space where order is constantly being redefined by everything around it. I kept thinking there is something quietly tragic about people whose job it is to enforce or maintain systems that are already drifting away from their original purpose. Because even when they act with conviction, it feels like they are responding to something that no longer behaves the way it's supposed to, and yet they continue away because stopping would mean acknowledging that stability, that it's not what it used to be. And Sonia feels like someone entirely different. Like a person whose identity is inseparable from being observed, as if visibility itself has become the structure she exists inside. And the more I saw her, the more I started questioning whether she is expressing herself freely or simply continuing to perform the version of herself that the world has already decided is worth paying attention to, which makes her feel less like an individual and more a reflection of how attention shapes identity in a world where being seen is almost like the same as being defined. And Stan and Mitch, strangely enough, feels almost like relief in comparison to the rest of this world. They don't seem interested in carrying meaning in the same way. They don't turn every moment into something symbolic or reflective. They just move through situations as they come, reacting without over-explaining neither existence or themselves, which makes them feel, in a strange way, more grounded than many of the people who are clearly trying to make sense of the world around them. And slowly, without any clear moment where it begins, the structure of everything in this world starts to feel repetitive, in a way that is hard to define. You see it in the different characters that you do meet. Because it is not that events repeat exactly, but the emotional shape of these people seems so familiar, like different variations of the same underlying pattern are being arranged or rearranged again and again across different phases and the different roads. And that realization doesn't arrive as a conclusion so much as it slowly forms in the background until it becomes difficult for you as the player to simply ignore. Zoe is connected to John through the Black Brigades. John is connected to Zoe, Alex, and Fanny. Also, the Black Brigades with Alex, while Fanny being an opposite in the police. Alex is connected to John through the Black Brigades, while Fanny being his adoptive mother. Stan and Mitch is connected to Fanny by them being robbers, while she is police. Stan and Mitch is also connected to Jared, being their goal of the game, and being connected to Sonia. Stan and Mitch is also connected to Sonia, she being their sister. Jared is connected to Stan and Mitch through them trying to kill Jared, and Jared being connected to Sonia. Sonia being his goal of killing through the game. Sonia is connected to Stan and Mitch, and Jared, and being one of the richest in the country, is also connected then to Zoe, through also coming from the rich upper class of this society. Everything is connected, and each part shows how this world works, from young to old, rich to poor, and completely given up on society to someone who makes an impact to this world. Each of these characters bring meaning and interest to the world, and so, what does the player bring to the game? A view from the sideline. Your character does not have a voice, you do not have a body, you do not have a simple identity or personality. This is very rarely done in the game, because you're not meant to truly be here in the same sense as these characters. For each run in this game you choose a new character with only a few traits of information given. The fact that the character is missing and have been for a while, it always says how long you have been missing. An outline for the look of the character, but never anything more than the shadow of it and some colors. Next is how old your character is, each character always being at the age of a teenager or a young adult. The first main mechanic of the game your character has is money. Money is important. It's how much money your character has left that will predict what difficulty of your run is going to be like. Next is your energy, this being the second mechanic to the game. It being what you always will need to keep over 0, and if not, you die. Lastly, your length to the goal, Road 96. A lot of this information truly does not matter to the player. For example, in the 100+ hours I actually have in this game, it does not matter if it says 1000 miles or 2400 miles to the border. The game itself usually having between 6 to 9 different interactions per run, either with characters or simple moments where you are left alone to yourself and explore Petria. And after you choose your character, let's say you chose this one, you are ... miles from the border, and now you start your journey into a country of Petria. You are a missing teen, and the police is after you. This country is not safe. It says it's a democracy, and yet the president won't let you speak up against the government and use your voice. You cannot leave this country, and so you need to leave this place. Firewatch is a video game releasing in 2016. A game about how a man just lost his wife and needs a break from society itself. Choosing that this summer he's gonna stay and be a fire watcher and check for wildfires. He stays here the entire summer while talking to a woman on a walkie-talkie. He is relaxing, but at the same time, slowly but surely through the game this summer, it starts to become clear that there are these mysteries. A beautiful video game that to this day has a cult following 10 years later. Holy fuck, it's 10 years since 2016. Fuck. This is the video game that starts walking sims, at least bringing more attention to them. And I truly don't think that Road 96 could exist without it. A game that is the definition of a great backgrounds game. I mean, look at these backgrounds for your PC. Firewatch is important for video games itself and has inspired so many. Yet it lacks that one thing that Road 96 brings when I play it. A deeper story, which is truly why we are here today in this video. I have always wanted to go on a road trip. I finally have my driver's license. It took a while. I mainly did this just because I think over the years of stories in media and how much I compare freedom to being on the road and always moving forward. I'm scared of driving, but I love exploring, so I just need to accept it. It has dead roads, yet beautiful waterfalls. And somewhere inside the repetition of this game, I stop feeling like I'm learning a story and start feeling like I'm being carried through one. That continues regardless of me or my character being here or not. Neither do I understand it or not, because the road doesn't pause for interpretation, and the world doesn't slow down to make it clearer of understanding what is truly happening. It moves forward. And eventually, even confusion becomes a part of the rhythm, rather than something that interrupts it. Road 96 is something else. It's absence. It's the feeling that people are constantly leaving your life before you never fully got to meet them. And somehow, that makes it hurt more. At each encounter, your goal is always to gain money and enhance your energy level. These are what makes sure that you make it to the border. I did say there were only 2 main mechanics to the game, but there is actually an important third mechanic that gets introduced at random times, only deepening on your procedurally generated road trip. This is the ability system of the game, each relating to a character of the game. Lockpicking, Stan and Mitch. Government pass, Fanny. Hacking, Alex. Cleverness, Jared. Omen vitality, John. Lucky star, Sonia. You would think there is a seventh one for Zoe, but there isn't one. I would think this is because Zoe, compared to the others, belongs more in the category of a main character. Someone that you follows. Each of these represents their own character, like how Sonia literally being the lucky star of this world, or how when you speak to Jared, you're never truly safe, and speaking to him on its own is a fight. Cleverness being the ability you get for surviving an encounter with him. That will from now on make it easier in every conversation of the game.
I don't think so.
I think a part of Road 96 makes you feel lonely. While you meet others on this trip, you never travel with them. All character has flaws, some more than others, and I do think it gives you that idea of Petra being this fucked up place, so corrupted by its police that it's ruined these people, the point where one will kill you for simply mentioning dinosaurs. It makes you wonder who these people could be in a different universe or a different country. I find this thought unsettling. Road 96 is a game I think that is always going to be hard to depict. The sole reason for that is that it's procedurally generated, and what people you meet and what order you meet people in is always going to be different. It's actually 100,000 plus outcomes of this game, of course being according to Reddit. I wanted to make this video first for my channel, but I was always kinda scared to. I didn't want to make a video where I just mention parts of it. I wanted its entirety. I figured the best way to actually do that is to depict my own personal run of this game and experience it again. I streamed this entire journey on Twitch. Check out the Twitch.
Now we're gonna get a...
This is a random playthrough. Each run, of course, is split into 6 parts.
Oh my god, I'm gonna do this again
Each
now.
run getting you closer and closer to the election date. Within the 6 runs, you're able to get 52 different encounters. My run started with the 3 personal questions that you will always get. When you travel, who do you travel with? If you didn't agree with the politics of your country, what would you do? And when you watch a movie, why do you watch it? Which you do give an answer to each of these, while none of these changed choices of the game or anything later. After this, on my first encounter, I met the character of John. John is a character so different from each encounter, meaning your image of him is going to be very different. In this scenario, I got the story about a girl. It's right after John has recently met his CB girlfriend. His girlfriend being Fanny. The problem about that is that she's a cop and on the hunt after John after transferring illegal radio items. John was too scared to meet to their date and left Fanny alone for seafood or gumbo as he says, drinking himself throughout the night where we meet him as the player. The night continues with minigames and reminiscing of the past. His girlfriend died in '86 and it's still affecting him to this day. John talks about his regrets, joining the brigades leading to every problem he has now. Even if it's a fight for his own beliefs, sometimes it's more important to be around the people you care for. He loves Connie as well and don't know how to express it, and that's how it ends. All of this already now builds this image of who John is to me as the player this run. My actual first time playing the game, I met John in The Pursuit of Happiness. The interesting thing here is that this encounter is when John and Fanny plan on meeting for the first time. The moment before this encounter I had now. This means that every time we play this game, it's possible to get interactions from the future or past at all random times. This builds up this image of John from a new perspective, someone more in control compared to fully harmed. I think the About a Girl makes this image of a man with so many physical, emotional scars seem more emotional, and compared to the image you get of him for the rest of the game, here he is someone ruined by the world. The second encounter I got was Smells Like Teen Spirit.
This was not random, because it's the first canon event on the player's journey. Each run you will always get a few specific encounters at specific times. This is the first encounter with Zoe, each encounter with Zoe being a canon event. You get to the campgrounds, where you could either sleep in a caravan or on cardboard, coming down to how wealthy you are at this point. You see Zoe arguing with the owner, rebellious as ever. You go to check out what is happening, where you could help Zoe or not give a shit. Before you talk to the owner, you could go to his desk to get the codes of his workshop, where you could steal $40 for yourself. After the Zoe talk, you walk around and simply explore. Out of any video game I've ever played, I've never felt such joy and love for each little detail that the game devs has put into the game. You get an achievement for petting a cat here, you can dance with Dancing Carl, you could listen to the illegal radio station that the old couple forgot to turn off. Each little detail adding immersion for yourself into it. After sleeping, you get awoken by Zoe at 3 in the morning to sit around the campfire and play on the trumpet and missing marshmallows. To be honest, I think it sounds a bit absurd almost in such a world, but it gives such a personality to this flawed and imperfect world, where we still make these genuine memories through the amazing song of Bella Ciao, until you get thrown out because it's still 3 AM and waking up everyone by playing a fucking trumpet. I think Road 96 is so fucking beautiful. There is this glow added to each part and contrasting colors so highlighted. The simple yet incredible cinematography, while at times it feels like you are a living camera. It places each character to the level of the hierarchy that they are at. For example, how every time you see Jared, he is placed in the middle. It gives this feeling of how every time you see or meet Jared, he is in control. Or how on the uncomfortable feeling of Jared, we see him from the below angle to enhance his power, and great use of a Dutch angle here. There's a lot to say about Jared. We will get to.
I went on this road trip for something bigger. I wanted to search for something that doesn't exist.
The third encounter I got for my run was Video Killed the Radio Star. That is a great fucking reference made by DigixArts. This is the first time you meet Sonia Sanchez. Sonia is a bitch, and someone affected by their surroundings. She represents all of the media through a single character. You spawn in at the campaign for a great opening of a new oil pump, a resource that Petria highly need for the working economy. Sonia's cameraman did not show up, so you as the kid walking by are asked to do so, and you can get some money for doing it. You're supposed to make the crowd cheer when Tyrak is mentioned and Flores booing. This is the first showing of how the censoring in the world works. You as the player are free to choose if you are going to follow the orders given by Sonia, or if you want to ruin them. Each of these choices reflect in how much money you get at the end. At the same time, you see at the end of each run how the polls are affected on your political opinions throughout the game. If you choose to rebel against the regime, or simply demonstrate, or if you choose to do nothing and leave. You talk with Sonia, you get paid, and the Lucky Star ability. This reflects into who Sonia is. Calling her a bitch might be a bit too much, but she does have the general vibe of a person who looks down upon you. She's a reflection of the media, the only star within the Petria we know about that is not a political figure of sorts. She has become this way by being supported by Tyrak. She's not someone with political opinions other than copying. She is a puppet, and at the same time, she feels so hollow. But also, at times she feels so full of life. Compared to John, the way you interact with Sonia is different. There are bigger reasons to who she is, but it's not revealed until later, until a canon event. The star ability reflects in how she is the star and only became so for lucky reasons. I leave this place again after searching for small details, like this rotten burger. Anything for a rotten burger, am I right? I leave. Short Circuit was the next space for me. All road trips leads to a gas station at some point.
I think there is something liminal to a gas station. They all look the same. They always take space in between the start and the end of your own road trip. And so it's a liminal point. Liminality does not need to be scary, but something familiar and nice, comfort. Dear Sarah, I found a new place to spend a few nights. An abandoned van next to a gas station. Hopefully, the gas station owner, who seems to be a big Tyrax supporter, doesn't see me. I hope you're well, Jake.
I met Alex at a gas station, a 14-year-old child which simultaneously has an IQ of 180, and the creator of the laptop of this world, in this world's timeline of computer technology. Of course, while being this smart and so young, he is easily affected by such a society. He has been taken in by the Black Brigades, a terrorist group rebelling against Tyrak and wanting Alex to make a bomb for them. You cannot stop him from doing this. You are just a teen and a bystander of this world and these different moments. You talk to him, walk around, do the small minigames like Alex being a bitch and letting you be electrocuted. You learn how Alex has been affected by this regime from the moment he was born. His parents are dead and he has left his stepmother on a journey to learn more about his original parents. His parents were a part of the brigades. You find a secret safe in the wall of the gas station and electrocute some Tyrax supporters. To such a cruel world and a very plot-heavy game, you need stress relief through comedy. You'll leave this place for the next.
Media is reflective of yourself. How Cyberpunk over the years has affected me in good and bad ways by simply understanding myself. And so you may wonder, what does Road 96 reflect in me? Sadly, the answer to that are not right here yet.
My journey took me further to Stan and Mitch. Now when you see these characters, you might have many thoughts of what they could be, but they are robbers. And alright at that. They again are very different from situation to situation. In this quiz, they are nice. In their search, they are not. Stan and Mitch are further apart from the rest of the group of characters. While being connected to Jared and Sonia, they still do not relate to the world itself. While characters are affected by this world, which evolves to what they are, these guys, I would believe, was the same in any country. They don't care for politics, nor the people. Stan and Mitch failed their last robbery, and for that reason they have been wondering if splitting up would be for the best. Mitch and a kid could become reality if you win. I take the test now, and for the first time ever, I get everything correct on each question. I win. Sadly, because this game is bullshit, you can never become a partner in crime with Mitch, even if you win. They take your car, but they give you back your money and let you sit for a while longer while they drive. And another arc is gone. My next journey was meeting Fanny. Fanny is probably what I would call a normal civilian in this world, although she is a cop. The cops in this game is awful to everyone. They either bring you to the pits or take your money as a donation to road control. Fanny is different, a actual nice person who's just doing her job and helping teens out and doing investigations on the Black Brigades. She's a good person in a bad world, and for that, at times she does bad things because of the system itself. When you meet her, she is trying to find her culprit, which we already know is John. She asks you as a teen to go from room to figure out who John is and how he looks. I go from room to room until I'm back again at Fanny, where a brigade outside her door makes sure to not let John be caught. And so I choose to show Fanny the wrong person. After this, I look around at the motel. To a world that is as bad as it is, a motel is like a small town where people live. I leave the motel and head further to the border. Pray for time. One of the few moments of this game of true loneliness. That is the name of this encounter. After you steal a car, maybe not the most ethical thing to do, but it's a need. It's what I would also call a free one. There is no puzzle to this one, or anything. You drive in the car in the golden hour, or whenever the time of day is. You drive until Jared. Jared is a man who's hurt and psychologically ill. His daughter died in 86. It leads him down a never-ending journey of hatred. Now, he meets you in the night, and you may be his next victim. He first asks you to let him join you. You try and start conversations only to hear the loud sound of silence. For each question and answer, Jared's rage only deepens. He talks partially to how two individuals are following him, and after that says there is something wrong with the car, it's locked. You know it's nothing wrong. I feel worried and ask him to stop doing that. He does not acknowledge it until you stop everything, which leads to his gun. Jared, now as I visualize the bar of anger, I feel the despair of this world. Each answer you give him has such impact. He wants to know every opinion of mine. If they're in the wrong, I will pay dearly. I survive. The reason I write Jared in such a descriptive way is because this is how the game makes you feel while talking to him. Probably the best written character of this entire game, played by Mikey W. Goodman, which is also played in Disco Elysium. The way his voice sounds, it gives me such a shiver down my spine. Now that I have survived each encounter, I'm finally towards the end of this country. I made it to Road 96. And what reaches me first is this beautiful waterfall. The waterfall of Road 96. Which means a consistent harmony in the game. There is nothing bad that will reach us here. You relax. You sleep. You see how others has treated this place. How families and friends have survived to this point, and when they reach it, they feel relaxation. Each person which have had a similar story to yours, and yet so different. You leave the waterfall when you're ready, and you leave for the border. Now at the border, you have 6 different ways of leaving this place. Now at the border, you have 7 different ways of leaving this place. To leave by the mountain. Each way you leave only once. By going the mountain trail, you travel for about 3 days. While you see the beautiful landscapes and lights blooming in darkness. You need about 3/4 full of a stamina bar to finish the mountain trail. And halfway through, you sleep in the bed thousands of meters above the border. You see the remains of 86. And I left. Freedom. Okay, that was my first run for a while of this game, but of course there is much missing here as well. I think the first thing we need to talk about is 86, what truly happened in 1986. While we are in the year of 1996, all the events lead back to 86. Tarak is already in power by 86, John and Connie are living their happy lives together while being a part of the Black Brigades. Another character that we don't meet in the game, but do hear a lot about is Lola. Lola is the daughter of Jared, someone with a free spirit. The world is already fucked up at this point, which leads the teens to rebel. This is at a time before we have the normalization of leaving the country or the pits themselves. Lola is the sole reason for Jared having so much hatred for this world. Jared is a character that is the most affected by the world itself. Each character of this world asks you questions of this world that makes you wonder about your own beliefs of it. John believes in moving forward, while Alex believes in truth, and Zoe believes in change. Jared is someone so affected to the point where the idea of believe has disappeared, and Jared wants to leave everything. He, as a character, breaks this immersion of the road trip idea. No other character feels like a threat to the player. They are characters built by the creators that has a sole reason for being implanted in a country, while Jared is done believing in anything at all. There's always this weird uncanny feeling to his encounters. They're all structured to be built to the player as a threat. It's uncomfortable. Weirdly enough, you do meet Jared a lot through the game, actually the most. His daughter joined the Brigades in '86. This was because her teacher, Bob Winter, who studied dinosaurs. Lola loved dinosaurs. Lola was sent with the Brigades in '86. She died under rubble. Same as Connie and the parents of Alex. Jared did not have anything left after Lola died, and so his anger grew. He kidnaps people, he kills people, he interrogates them. He sees people for what they truly are, if they are truly a good person. But this idea of a good person is one-sided to his own beliefs based on the country's past. If each character in this world is on two different sides of the bubble. I do think of it this way because, let's say, Circle A is in the belief of this country, where Zoe, Alex and Flores, the politician, would be, while Circle B is in the idea of the collapse of the country, where Stan and Mitch and Sonia and Tyrak would be. And the third circle, of course, would be in the middle, where Fanny and John, each never sticking to one side but believing in both. And then Jared does not even appear in the circle. He surrounds it. He's on the outside. The space of nothingness and no opinion because he simply does not care. Jared is not the antagonist in the world. If there was an antagonist though, it would be Tyrak or the system, while Jared is written as a comparison to the representation of post-trauma worldview. He has experienced loss. Then when his loss happens, there is no resolve to it. When people do lose others, it is extremely normal for blame. It's simple human psychology, where we blame others for something we simply cannot understand or cause. Or maybe have a system to help us when it does happen. I think some people want to understand cause, while some lust for control of it. Human demand meaning, but the universe provides none, is a quote by Albert Camus. Albert Camus believed in absurdism, which is explained further in the way that humanity naturally demands clarity, order, and meaning from the world. The world does not answer that demand. The idea of the absurd is not in the world nor the human mind, but the point in between. Jared experiences injustice and no explanation that gives any satisfaction of it. Jared's full story you will probably never fully get unless you play the game entirely twice. Road 96 as a video game is not one that willingly gives you the entire truth, but it makes you discover it and assemble this incomplete truth and give meaning to it. Road 96 does not give you a voice, but to a certain degree, the descriptive identity of who you are as a teenager. Our teenage years are the years of uncertainty of life. I can certainly say that for myself, for how weird it feels being a teenager, while I still am one, and soon to be 19 years old. Roll 96 choose these years of uncertainty, as they also are a huge part of the public that protests the most, especially in modern times. Our youth is not scared of speaking up, and this is definitely purposely done by DGX Arts. I do think we need to go back a few years to actually speak about the creation of this medium. How did this all really come to life by DGX Arts? DGX Arts is a French game studio from the city of Montpellier in France. This is a city in France filled with creativity and a hub of gaming because of the Ubisoft studio based here. The game was created by 15 different people. Each person over the first 2 years was allowed to suggest different ideas and characters. The original idea came from when they visited the Polish studio, 11-Bit Studio. This was because multiple of the game devs had lived through communist rule during the Soviet era. The interesting thing here is that the multiple ways that you leave in the game through the border is from real-world experience. Johan Fans is the director of the group. He said in multiple interviews how they first spent 2 years making the story. They developed the game mechanics and how they surrounded by the system. They first spent 2 years making the story. They developed the game mechanics and how they surround them by the system. They choose specifically to move from location to location to have a natural way of showing movement of time. They designed each encounter with 2 main ideas for them. They were always inspired by filmmakers from Coen Brothers, Bong Joon-ho, and Quentin Tarantino, especially with Tarantino, with parts of his films feeling episodic in the same way Pulp Fiction does. Each encounter was meant to last between 30 to 50 minutes to feel like an episodic experience. Characters like Stan and Mitch were inspired by the Porco Rosso from Ghibli. By the end of the 2 years, they didn't have a playable game but an engine created through the entire story, which was only text-based at this point. Because of this, they had problems getting investors, never visualizing the idea of it. This put more stress on the creation of the game, and on top of that, COVID really starting out, which made it harder for game studios. But after a while, they got the gaming company of Omen, making it so that it was possible to make the game. And after hard work, it released in 2021, August 16th. To its critical acclaim, the game got fairly good scores. On Metacritic, it got now a 74%.
No predators, no disease, no suffering. Just one small catch. There is nowhere to go in the late 1960s. In the late 1960s, scientists
John B. Calhoun at the National Institute of Mental Health tried exactly that experiment. He created Universe 25.
Calhoun wanted to find out what would happen to a mouse colony given everything mice need except living space. The result was chilling. 2.5 years ago, more than
A sealed metal
2,000
paradise for
were
mice.
packed into Mouse City.
He started with just 8 healthy animals. 4 males,
Corner of the city.
4 females. Everything they could ever need, except space. At first it was heaven. The population exploded.
By day 315, there were over 620 mice from the original 8. Nests were everywhere. Babies being born, it looked like a rodent utopia. But then the numbers, they kept on climbing.
And at its peak, Universe 25 housed around 2,200 mice. Still with plenty of food and water. And that's when Paradise turned into hell. You can see it for yourself in the archival footage shot by NIMH in 1970 to 1972. Calhoun himself appears on the camera, calmly explaining what he's witnessing. While the cameras roll on thousands of white mice in enclosure, dominant males form the violent gangs, attacking females and pups without reason. Mothers abandoned or even killed their own young ones. Infant morality soared. Courtship and parenting simply stopped. Then came the strangest group out of all of these, the beautiful ones. These mice withdrew completely. They stopped fighting, they stopped mating, they stopped raising families, they just grew.
Then came the strange group of all of these different mice. The beautiful ones. These mice withdrew completely from this society. They stopped fighting, they stopped mating, stopped raising families. They just groomed themselves obsessively. They ate, they slept, and existed in total isolation.
Perfectly healthy on the outside, but socially dead on the inside. Calhoun called this collapse the behavioral sink. Even though their physical needs were met, the lack of space and meaningful roles destroyed normal social behaviors. The colony hit its peak and then slowly died out. The very last mouse in Universe 25 perished in 1973. A perfect utopia had engineered its own execution.
Mice, that is bodies, moving bodies, but they're really only about 150 mice.
Row 96 feels like the human version of Universe 25, at least in my own view. Petria is a closed system, a country that promises security but traps people in poverty, propaganda, and a authoritarian control. There is enough to survive, but no real space to grow, dream, or build a future. The procedurally generated roads, the failing economy, the surveillance, the deadly border, it's all one big enclosure. The citizens have given up, they're the beautiful ones. Withdrawn, apathetic, just going through the motions. The aggressive NPCs and regime enforcers. They're the violent gangs defending tiny scraps of territory. And your playable teenage characters. Zoe, John, and the other hitchhiking across those dangerous highways. They're the mice that still refuse to accept the cage. They still have hope. They still make choice. They still risk everything for the one thing Universe 25 never even offered. An exit. Every time you help a stranger push through low energy or take the risky mountain pass, you're watching a tiny act of rebellion against the behavioral sink. The game's genius is that it lets you replay the experiment over and over. Some roads end in tragedy, others spark change, but the pressure of the closed system is always there, slowly grinding down normal life until something breaks. Johan Fanse and the DGX Arts teams didn't set out to recreate Calhoun work, but the parallel is eerie. Real stories of emigration, the Iron Curtain escapes, and systemic desperation inspired Row 96. The game asks the same question Calhoun's footage forces us to confront. What happens to society when there is no room left to breathe? Now, if this experiment reflects the world, that is your own opinion, but I do think there is something to it. The world shows mostly characters that has not lost hope yet. But in a world alike this, it filled with propaganda, it becomes alike a echo chamber. A space where the same thoughts and opinions strengthen each other by hearing no other opinions. A video game is of course made up from all different art forms. The art style of the game, the soundtrack, the cinematography style feels like a point between modern realistic graphics and low-poly PS1 styles. It's similar in form to the art of Mouthwashing or Titanium Daydream or Firewatch. It's vibrant in the way of Firewatch, but lower poly, similar to Mouthwashing, without the pixelation, of course. In a way, it matches the point where they started getting 3D graphics to video games. It truly is a beautiful world to travel through. The mountains of Petria, the waterfall, or the vibe of the bar Jared usually goes to. The ambience is significant. It probably is my favorite art style to any video game ever made. We have seen for years how graphics of video games are evolving, but it's getting to the point that it can't get any more realistic, therefore we need to go the direction of surrealism. An art where we still see the humanity, and yet it's super unrealistic. The music that is played in the game has that road trip vibe combined with an extra amount of electronic music. The type of music played is a type of synthwave, a bit of retrowave and folk music. Then you got songs like Bella Ciao. What this wide range of music is to a sense of how its different subcultures mash together. Music is a way that we humans convert sound to feelings and emotions. After I played the playthrough, I played the rest. This lasted for 6 hours. You learn each round more and more of this world. I think one problem I was always going to have with this video, I have at least 100 hours in this game. After this long, I do feel repetition, but I have literally put my life into it. There are a few standout encounters that feel refreshing though, such as living La Vida Loca. You stop at this abandoned burger mart. It feels already different than any other location. There are no neon light signs. Everything is closed. There's a letter saying, "To whom it may concern." I had to leave this place. Every single one of my employees left, one by one. Finally, one of them told me why. I didn't believe it until I saw it for myself from the employee's room. Don't look outside the window, I am warning you. You restore the power by taking the gas can and taking it to the generator, and the lighting is this creepy white light, not a warm light. You go to the employee's room and the door closes behind you. You look out the window, you see this person, this shadow or silhouette. It does not move and you just stare at it. It does look like a man. You look away, the door is now open, but it's gone. And you leave, there is nothing left here. It's this place left in time without you ever reaching any form of connection with anyone. I think it's this sort of scarcity with how such a game where you, the player, is performed as such an uninteresting individual, gets placed alone again and is left to look around. The individual might be Jared or represent something bigger, maybe a sort of Bigfoot or... The second map, with an almost opposite style, is More Than Words. You learn the story of someone who existed here a while ago, a couple who loved each other, where this fucked, corrupted world could not keep them from each other. You start in front of a tunnel, where you walk to this tunnel. It's complete darkness, until you see a car with a spotlight on it, where you see the silhouette of two people sitting on the front of the car. When you walk towards the people, they disappear. After you reach the car, you see a door that leads into a hallway. The hallway is filled with personality. You see they like reading books, at least one of them smokes. They have some sort of letter, which I'm guessing is a bill. On top of that, they have art. The art is abstract, not from this era they are living in. When you leave the hallway, you see a sort of abandoned house. In this house, there are pictures on the walls of the couple and a diary where if you place the pictures, you learn the entire story. The day we met, you stopped to give me a ride. I have been hitchhiking for days and was starting to see things. The day we had our first argument, you cut your knee on the rocks jumping into the waterfall, like I said you would. The day we were meant to be together, we stayed up all night talking about our lives and our future. The day we tied the knot, we saw a beautiful old tree on the side of the road. We climbed the hill to reach it. Underneath, you proposed to me, just as the sun was setting. You leave the house with a diary to see the proposal for yourself. Under the beautiful tree. Under the tree, you dig up the wedding rings. And a car drives by. But one morning, we woke up knowing we were now different from the people we had been. That day, we went back to the same old tree. Our tree. When it was done, when we'd filled in the hole, we hugged for the last time, and we went our separate ways. I think it's one of the most beautiful moments I ever had in this medium. There's something more to this encounter, how it portrays such a life of normal people in a totalitarian country. I still wonder why these people left each other. It felt like they had everything, but I'm guessing the problem is freedom. While one may be afraid to fight for change, the other cannot and must resist what they believe in. For what they believe in. One took a car and one stayed. Just as it started. I think it's one of the most beautiful moments I've ever had in media. There is something more to this encounter. I also start noticing that my identity inside the game follows the same design philosophy. The absence of a fixed protagonist is not just an aesthetic. It prevents emotional stability from fully forming. The I stops feeling like a consistent self and instead becomes a rotating perspective moving between encounter, system, and people. The instability allows the game to maintain its focus on transition, impermanence, and movement without ever letting the player fully settle into a singular identity.
The moment a being is born, it is born with a friend. Death. I'm out here all on my own, traveling to the end of the universe. I've been alone out here now for a few days. There used to be more of us. But I know I'm not alone out here. I know I'm searching for something. The end of it all. After everyone left, the forest itself started to deteriorate. And after a while, it was mostly all ruins. Sleeping outside has become easier, knowing I'm the only one out here, all on my own. It feels at times, though, as if I'm being watched.
From the nape of her neck, he made his descent. They watched men hurl from rock to sea, like sternum to bottom, lined with pinches in between.
I thought maybe I would find myself out here, even if I was alone, the last one. I still figured there would be some meaning to this. I've been walking for weeks now. I don't know what I'm looking for. It's pretty sad being the last one here.
Distance can be such a catalyst. I've been afraid of abandonment. My love just never felt adequate. You know it's all I got now. And I won't forget what you said that day. Don't lie, I know it's not anything. But I spent centuries waiting. You know it's
Any time I sleep, I feel like someone's there. Not in a creepy way. I know I'm the last one here. But it's this feeling of existence. I think now, sitting here at the end of the universe, it wasn't as lonely as I thought being alone out here. There's always that feeling of something being around me. Death never leaves us, some people say. It's there until the day we all pass away. I think in a certain sense, I was the loneliest man in this world. And now I think it's my time to go as well. Bye-bye, world. At the end of my third year in
middle school, I found Road 96. It was the summer before starting high school. I was 15 years old. It was about 4 a.m. where I ended on chapter 6. And for that single moment, I felt such relief. I went outside and I looked upon the sun at 4 a.m. Of course, there were nobody around, but I felt warmth. Road 96 to me is escaping reality. Sure, it's about politics and your use of your rights, but I think to me it's more about escaping yourself through video games, through art. Hey again.
Been a while, huh?
Yeah,
So, how's it going then?
I don't know.
You know, it almost sounds like you're having a midlife crisis at 18, you know?
How so?
Well, you dwell on the past, think about regrets a bit too much, and has gotten weight into art.
I don't know if I'm able to say that counts as a midlife crisis, but yeah, I am struggling. I'm still working on the video. I've been for a while now.
And you feel like it is worth it?
I'm not able to answer that. I've been struggling with sleep, and on top of that, I work every day. And when I get home, I work on the video. I wish I could do nothing, but I don't have a choice. Doing stuff is a part of living. How are you?
I've been alright, just checking up on people I haven't talked to in a while.
That's thoughtful of you.
Nah, it's just how you keep friendships alive. Also, are you still thinking about that thing about depression? Have you thought about opening up maybe? Or going to a therapist? Or...
No. It's too much to open up, even though I should. It's more the realization of how I'm actually doing when looking at it from the outside. I don't know how people talk about their struggles. Also, the thing you mentioned about art.
Yeah?
It's more that I've gotten way too observant of it. I don't enjoy it in the same way. It's less living in the moment of creation, but more of understanding it. I almost wish I could go back to how I used to look at art.
I don't think it's that bad though. It's almost like you look deeper into the void. although most of your art you look at is depressive. You mentioned that people shouldn't surround themselves with media obsessed with sadness or melancholy, because it can lead to you actually being depressed.
I don't think depression is a feeling that ever goes away. It's more like an underlying feeling. And so, yeah, it's around me all the time, but it doesn't change the way it was originally.
Which is another way of not accepting the reality, something stupid like that.
I mean, the most underlying problem is that I'm scared of change, and has always been.
Yeah, that's a good realization.
I think I'm done now, though.
Yeah, and how does it feel? There was everything on that list, right?
Yeah, I do feel relief, but I also feel like because I stressed so much about finishing it, I wasn't able to enjoy it as much as I wanted to. That thing people say about living in the moment, I definitely didn't do that.
But that's alright.
Yeah, I don't know. When I'll make something new. I'm so tired. I got 2 hours of sleep last night, you know.
Why are you awake now then?
Don't know.
I started playing Roll 96 when I played it because it was free on the Game Pass. I played it for around 50 hours here, and then it disappeared. And I was already at that point so addicted to the game that I bought it on Steam instead. Well, it did come back to Game Pass 1 month after, when I checked. But I'm glad I bought it. It means so much to me. Sure, this video is an analysis of these different characters and what they represent of the world, but I think the beautiful thing about media is how it represents in us as people, because media makes you feel something. Like, playing a video game is fake, but it also is very much real, because emotions are not fake. Sure, they are only different feelings that you feel in your brain that may be artificial to a certain degree, but they aren't. They are real as fuck to you. But I don't have a singular conclusion to this video itself. I don't know how to end this video. It makes me wonder about my own life, if I make the right choices often. It's why I love games that gives you the option of changing what will happen in the future. I don't like it when a game has a set thing that is going to happen, even though my 3 favorite video games already has that. But Roll 96 showed me a new view from the sideline. I don't think any of us are main characters of the world, same way that my intro to this video seems extremely critical, or my intro isn't meant to represent a way of how we don't mean anything to this world. It's more to emphasize how much we actually mean, by of course then seeing the rest of the video and explaining this idea of what freedom means to us as people.
Is that it? So, how does it feel? You did it. You talked about your problems online. How does it feel? Fulfilling? A weight lifted off your shoulder, or whatever the feeling that we've been here before. I'm supposed to feel. Is there a specific way to feel after all of this? I mean, I feel like I've done so many different things. You know, I think all of that is for you to answer for yourself. You know, in a certain sense, I'm not even real. You're kinda like a crazy person who is talking to himself in front of a camera. But, you know, does anything matter at all? I mean, you're the fucker who thought using all of high school on
3 big YouTube videos, each taking way too many hours, sacrificing time you could have enjoyed doing other things, being social, being with your friends. In the end, did it matter? You know, you talk so much about this thing about what is the true self after you read that one book. Why does it fascinate you so much? I don't think there's many people who actually even think about this thing. Because in the end, it doesn't. It's just for people who truly need to find meaning in the least meaningful things. Like you. Yeah, you're right. I don't know how I feel about all of this. But it was a nice way of expression, I think, as well. Even though I kind of hate myself for doing it. I think if you look close enough, you might even be able to notice it through the editing and filming. And what is the true self? I don't know. The only conclusion that I have truly come to is that each and every one of us is a different person when talking to another individual. We all change through our surroundings. It's natural. The way you act around a parent or a friend, it's all a real part of you. That's what makes it special. I think the fact that this video has slowly but surely become less and less about the original subject, World 96, and more about me. I don't think it's selfish or anything like that. It is an essay, and essays are supposed to be subjective and true to you.
Is that your real answer then? You're okay with that? Thanks for all the comments on the last video. It meant a lot, thank you.